Here's my army for tonight. It's the early war Italian, and it's the same one I used against Colin if you'd seen my previous video. I've got a second lieutenant and one guy with him. I've got a unit of elite bersaglieri. I've got a regular Italian section, and I've got a inexperienced colonial section, and then I've got a small unit of 6 paratroopers with submachine guns. I've got a Semavent, the 7518 or 1875, 7518, 1875, and the L640, which has got the light auto cannon. I've got a medium howitzer, a medium mortar, and a sniper team, and that's my army for this evening. It's the one I'm trying out for the Cams Bridge Too Far. It's going to be the 3-day tournament in Cambridge, and we're seeing how this is running out. So it's been interesting so far. With the figures that it's got a bit of HE power with the 2 big pieces, the mediums, and the Semavent can also do that. It's got a 2-inch howitzer on it, as well as a medium anti-tank gun. The Semavent, of course, does lack a little bit of manoeuvrability because it's got the hull fixed gun. The L640 is an interesting little one. It's got a one-man turret, but for my purposes, where I'm bringing it on from a flank, it doesn't have to take a leadership test other than to come on. So win some, lose some, I suppose. But it's quite good. It's an 8 armour front, and it's got the light auto cannon, so quite useful. So yeah, we'll have a look at what Andy's bringing tonight. Bringing his tried and tested late Germans. So he's got a veteran officer with a mate, and they're both armed with assault rifles. He's got 3 infantry units of troops, and they're all armed with assault rifles. So he's got 7-man units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7-man units. All armed with assault rifles and 2 Panzerfausts each squad. He's then got a medium mortar, a Nebelwerfer, and a sniper. He's running a Panzer IV, so he'll get that Tiger Fear factor. And he's got a 222 armoured car with the light auto cannon. So yeah, it's quite a tricky little army. It's got some tough veteran infantry. Of course, the Tiger Fear, which can cause certainly my inexperienced troops a lot of trouble. And the Nebelwerfer, if you get lucky, my boy, do you get lucky with that. So I've got to watch my step with that and keep my units fairly spread out, which does affect the support that you give each other. So Nebelwerfer can be quite a good strategic tool when you're playing against it. So yeah, have to be careful of that. So let's have a look at what my theories are for the game. Right, my strategy for this one was to send the L640, which has got it's got the auto cannon, so it's got 2 shots. It's quite good against infantry, and certainly very good against artillery pieces. Off on the left flank, this scenario comes with 3 objectives: 1 on the left, 1 in the centre, and 1 on the right. Coupled with the L640, I put my paratroopers. So that's 6 figures with submachine guns, so 12 shots, no penalty for moving on with the shooting. So they're quite a good little unit, and obviously being veterans, 5s to kill them. So that's what I went for on the left. On the right, I put a unit of bersaglieri veterans onto the flank. They've got a submachine gun, 8 men, and an LMG. So fairly hard hitting and fairly strong to last with that 5 to kill. So that's what I was going to do. I was thinking I could probably take the left-hand flank objective and leave the middle one, go with the possibly sneak the right one to get a win, and that's what I had in mind. Use my other troops, the mortar, the medium howitzer and the semi-vent to try and tie up some of his units. Had to be really careful with regards to the Nebelwerfer. You can see it there placed next to that close to that objective up the top there. Got to keep my units dispersed, because if that hits, with the way the Nebelwerfer works, you could end up having 3 or 4 units hit quite easily, once or twice even, depending on how it's set out. So yeah, got to be careful with the Nebelwerfer there. So that was my thoughts. Try and certainly get the left hand one, perhaps sneak the right hand one for a win, and not lose units, obviously, because of the Avanti Savaria rule. Whereas if I go 3 dice, if I lose 3 dice more than my opponent, my morale drops to 2. So okay, if I'm winning, if I'm 3 or more ahead, well, if I'm 3 ahead, my leadership goes up by 2. But it doesn't often happen that way. So yeah, let's get into the game and see if my strategy will work. Just before we start, I thought I'd just add in a little something else. At the end of the video, there's some information on a Kickstarter that's coming up from Baddsquiddo Games. It's to do with Vikings and Freya warband. So Annie at Baddsquiddo is renowned for her excellent figures of realistic women fighters and figures. It's an excellent Kickstarter. Check out the information at the end of the video. Thanks very much. Greetings from the Eccentric Man. This evening we're at the local game store and I'm playing Andy, and we're doing a little practice for the Cams Bridge Too Far. I'm running the Italians again, and I'm playing against Andy's late Germans. And we've set the table up. It's going to be point defence, and the Germans are on the defence as a defender, and the Italians are attacking this time around. So that should be interesting for the Italians. I've put some units on outflank. I've got an L640 light tank, which is one of my armoured cars, and a unit of paratroopers, and I've also got a unit of bersaglieri on the flank, on the outflank as well. So we'll see how they work. So for point defence, to win, I've got to have 2, to draw 1, and if I don't have any, you win. Yeah, I thought that might be the case. So I've got to get at least 2 of the objective points to win. So we've got 1 over there in the corner by the field, 1 in the centre by the hill, and 1 there over by the woods. So Andy's set up his troops so far. So he's got a Nebelwerfer on the backboard there. He's got a medium mortar, an infantry squad and a leader squad, headquarters, and a snipper, and a spotter in the building. I've gone down on this route, and I've got a spotter for my mortar here, and a spotter for my medium artillery piece in the corner there, and a sniper. I'm going to bring everything else on in wave 1, and that's going to be the start of the game. But before we do, just to cheer Andy up, there's a preparatory bombardment, so we're going to see if that comes in. The result of the preparatory bombardment is that the Nebelwerfer takes 2 pins, the lieutenant takes 2 pins, the mortar takes 1 pin, sniper takes 2 pins, and the infantry unit was a direct hit. So I've got to work out how to do that. I think it's the heavy howitzer, isn't it? Okay, so I think, remembering the rules for preparatory bombardment, once the opposing player knows it's coming in, they can go down. So I told Spike this, and he decided to do that. So it means that a 4 possible goes down to 2, and he's lost 2 men out of the unit. So it's still okay for me. If I got that wrong, please let me know. Sadly, I've just been Nebelwerfed. The sniper took a shot at the Nebelwerfer, and I was 2 inches out short. So passed his leadership test and got a 6 for hitting the sniper. Collateral damage because of the template also hits the artillery piece observer, and Spike killed all 3. So first blood and 1 dice to the Germans. End of turn 1, and the first wave of the Italians, more or less everything apart from the outflankers, are on. Brought on the medium anti-tank, medium howitzer on that side.
the colonial inexperienced in the middle. The sniper has come out from hidden and taken a shot and shot the NCO. Good choice on that, because that reduces them by 1 on their leadership, and with the Panzer IV that's due to come on, that will drop them down another 1 for their leadership tests. Some event came on, but he didn't have anything to shoot at, and we've moved on the officer and the Italian unit behind the wood, and brought the mortar on. Oh yes, over there, a little bit away from the howitzer. So everything else is just as it was for Spike, so we're going to move into turn 2, and I'm 1 dice down still. So into turn 2, and mixed fortunes for me. The Panzer IV came on, and because of the Tiger fear, my medium howitzer decided it didn't like the thought of that, so went down. It fired at the summer vent, which was in the field, so I did get cover, and the Panzer IV missed it, but he did take a shot at the colonial troops, and I put them down, so it did make them very hard. I ran the Italian officers into the building and advanced up the Italians behind the wood. Just getting dizzy with the swing. The mortar did take a pop at the Nebelwerfer. Needed a 6, got a 5, so it's going to be a 5 this turn around. On the German side, you can see the Panzer IV's come on there. And he's also brought up a unit from the back base into the edge of the woods there. Sniper went on to ambush, seeing if there's anything nice that's going to come up and poke its head up. What? No, you haven't. You can do if you want 4+. So also brought on the little anti-tank armoured car and took a pop at the artillery piece, but needed 6s and didn't get it with the light auto cannon. Nebelwerfer this time around missed, so that was a bonus for me. Rallied some troops at the back, and the mortar took a pop, didn't it, at the artillery piece, so that needs a 5 next turn, doesn't it? So that's that for turn 2. Just going to roll to see whether the sniper... Do you want to leave it on ambush to the next turn, or do you want to see if he can have a shot?
No, I'm going to leave him.
Going to leave him. Okie dokie, that seems fair to me. We'll move on to turn 3, and outflanking units could come on. Into turn 3, and the Panzer IV got hit. First dice out was for the Italians, and the Semavent took a shot and managed to glance the Panzer IV and give it 2 pins, which was quite handy, and forced it to go down, so that was quite good. The infantry on that far side moved into the woods and took a shot at the artillery piece, but fortunately didn't kill anyone. Didn't hit either, did you? Because they went down again. Failed their Tiger Fear test for the 2nd time, and they went down. The unit here of the inexperienced went down because the little tank came on and it didn't come on, it moved its position and took a shot at them. So had to put them down, didn't want to have them killed. Bit of fortune for the Italians with the mortar. Took a pop at the Nebelwerfer and got it with a 6. No, 5, wasn't it? But I did roll a 6. Yeah, that was confusing me. Managed to kill 1 man, I think, and put 3 pins on, so that was quite useful. Unit of Germans moved into the ruins, and they decided to take a shot at the Italian infantry. They killed 1 and 1 pin, but I managed to take that off with leadership, returned the compliment, and missed. So, never mind. A bit of a shame. So, the Italian officer in the building did go down because the Nebelwerfer did take a shot at the inexperienced colonials there, and fortunately for me, missed the tank and missed the officers, so that was a bonus. Over on the left flank here, there's been a bit of rallying and movement, and the infantry have moved up into the field where they can take the benefit of a bit of soft cover, and the officers have run up behind. Not run up, have they? They've just lost their pins and sorted themselves out. So that's there, and we're going to move into turn 4 now. So it should be interesting to see what happens. We're still one dice down for the Italians. The only bonus thing is that tank is probably not going to do much. Well, it probably is actually. Yeah, it's only a leadership test to lose 1 pin and then fire one on 1 pin, isn't it? Yeah. Oh well, we'll see what happens. See as we go. So into turn 4. Into turn 4, and let's see where we're going on this one. In this turn, the Panzer IV failed its leadership test and went down. The Semavent took a shot at it, but sadly missed. The artillery gun took a shot at the armoured car, and the armoured car wrecked away. The unit of Germans in the building took shots at the Italian squad down here. Killed one, put a pin on. I returned fire, but hit nothing. I ran the officer out of the building, and that activated the sniper from ambush, and fortunately the sniper failed to kill, but did put a pin on. The colonial unit, inexperienced, failed its order check, even with the officer close by, and went down. The artillery piece was shot on by the German unit in the wood, and didn't... Yeah, gave a pin. I brought my outflanking unit on, the Bersiligi, and they took a shot at the guys in the wood, but only put 1 pin and killed 1, so the shooting there was not very good. On the other side, we are able to bring the parachutists on. They have now captured that objective, and took a shot at the German unit in the middle, and didn't do very much damage to them. Killed 1, took 1. No, not even sure I killed 1 actually. Just gave a pin. Tried to bring on my armoured car, which is the L640 tank, but they failed to come on this turn. So we're going to move into turn 5, and I think that's going to cause me a lot of grief in this turn. But we'll see how we run as we go into turn 5. Well, luck has been very variable for both Andy and myself in this turn 5. On a good note, I rallied the colonial infantry. That was quite good, because I didn't have an officer, because the sniper shot the officer. So I'm down to the 1 man there. He did pass his leadership test. These tried to take a leadership test to move, and they failed and went down. The Semavent for the 2nd turn running, needing a 3 for the Panzer IV, rolled a 1. The Panzer IV rolled an 8, needed a 7, so they went down. On this right hand flank, what else? Yeah, the artillery piece didn't pass its leadership test and went down, but there's only 1 man left there alive. Medium mortar has changed his target and has put a ranging shot on Panzer IV, because the spotter was able to see him, so it's a 5 next time if the tank doesn't move. Over here, grimness, absolute grimness. The Bersiligi didn't put enough wounds on the Germans, put them on 2 pins. The Germans passed their leadership test with double 1, all pins gone, and decided to shoot at the Bersiligi, killing 5 out of the 8. Fortunately, I passed my leadership test and they are remaining. On this side, all hell letting loose. The Germans got the drop and advanced up their squad, firing 2 Panzerfausts at the L640, and missed. I did chuckle, but that was quite good. I went down with the parachutists because they are holding this objective, and they didn't take any wounds from the Germans who advanced to shoot. Sadly for Andy, he put his troops in the way of his officers so they couldn't shoot at the parachutists. My L60 came on and set alight the little armoured car, the 222, but he was able to pass his leadership test, so he got 2 pins and went down. So it's an interesting sign now as we go into turn 6. The first dice out is going to be really important. and the second dice out is really important, I could do with both. That would be really nice. So yeah, let's move on into turn 6. Well, end of turn 6, and it's quite tight. I had one the NCO's who was with the officer. He was able to move, and he ran for cover. The Italian unit there in the woods, I wanted to get them to move back, but they went down. You'll notice the absence of the colonial unit, which I moved up to take a shot at the 2 remaining Germans in the wood. I've still got 3 Bersaglieri, Bersaglieri, that's it, who are still there. And I missed. I didn't do nothing with them. I needed 6s followed by 6s. The Panzer IV went down for the 3rd time. And like a wombat, I had moved the colonial infantry in front of the Semavent, so I couldn't shoot it this turn. I tried to reverse it back, because I was going to take a pop at the unit that was in the house and went down. That unit then came out and wiped out the colonial infantry. That was really grim. On this far hand side, another bit of luck for the Italians. The 222 passed its test, zapped round and took a side shot at the L640. Missed. I was very lucky, very lucky. I tried to shoot with these. Well, I shot with the L640 at the German infantry. Did I kill one? Didn't even kill one, did I? Put 2 pins on them, but that was it. I tried to activate the paratroopers, but they didn't, and they went down, which probably saved them from the shots, because not much went with the German officer and his mate. So at the moment, I have one objective, which I captured, which is this one over here on the left. The one in the centre. Sorry? Not in this scenario, because you've got to wipe me out, have nothing there within 3 inches to claim it back. It's no contesting. Yes. Yeah, have a look on that one. And then that objective, although there's nobody there, it's counted as captured at the beginning of the game for the Germans, so they hold that one. Just checked it through. With this scenario, once you've captured an objective, you've got to then wipe out the persons who are there, then have no other enemy unit within 3 inches to be able to hold it at the end of your turn. So that was captured a little while back, so that one's still held. That one, the scenario says they are captured at the beginning, even if you have no people there, so that's still in Andy's control. This one over here, I haven't got anyone within 3 inches yet, and I'm possibly not likely to have. That's going to be a very interesting one, because we're in the woods, so you can only advance. So possibly if I get the drop, I could advance 6 inches and get perhaps within 3 inches of it. Then I'd have to hope that Andy doesn't do anything with his little people. Don't know what's going to happen. So it's a close one, but we've got a roll to see whether it does actually go in. At the moment it's a draw, because I'm holding 1. So on a 4, 5, 6 we go into 7. But we don't, it ends as a draw. Well, that was a cracking game, that one. That was really good.
Well, that was an excellent game. It was to and fro every turn. The duel of the Semavent and the Panzer IV was really funny. At least 3 occasions I rolled a 1 to hit the Panzer IV. I think Andy must have rolled at least 3, maybe 4 times, failing to pass his leadership test and going down. That was a big help. But even though that, the Tiger Fear still caused my medium howitzer to fail its leadership test a number of times. And certainly the inexperienced squad, after they took a casualty and lost the NCO, were really stuffed. So yeah, Panzer IV's Tiger Fear are real tricky bits to deal with for some armies. But there we are. That's what it is. I couldn't kill it with the Sem event because I couldn't hit it. Strategy wise, yeah. Left hand flank struggled. I did get what I wanted, but I think that's possibly because Andy didn't realise the rules on the objectives. Having the parachutists come on and the L640 fail its leadership test was a pain. I don't want to make it up to veteran because that's a big chunk of points. So I'll probably have to take the risk again. On the right hand side, yeah, again it didn't work as I wanted it to. The burst Sligeri came on, didn't do enough wounds, and I think that Spike was quite clever really, putting them down on that time on that side, because at the next one the dice came out and he was able to activate them first. So yeah, it was very close on that side. We went right down to the wire on both sections. We did play it for the last as if we had a turn 7 after we finished the recording, and I managed to get the Bersaglieri onto the objective. Couldn't kill a man from the German section to take him down to 1 man and have another leadership test. Couldn't do it, and he but he passed his leadership test for the Panzer IV on that last roll. Turned it around and then shot the Italian Bersaglieris off of the objective, wiped them out. So a little bit too late for him, but it was still left it as a draw. What I'm thinking is, do I keep the medium howitzer, or do I drop that and go for another section of infantry? Because I could get another section of infantry for the price of that medium howitzer and spotter. That would give me the ability to bring on 2 infantry units on outflank on either side and still have 2 infantry units in the middle. So that's a thought process. Two for outflanking on one side, and the tank and the infantry parachuters coming in on the other. It would give me a little bit more flexibility on a like a Zulu attack with 2 horns coming in from the flanks and the centre head, if you can call it a centre head, with the Sem event, an Italian section, and an inexperienced colonial section. But we'll see. That's where my thoughts might be going. Another unit of infantry, drop the medium howitzer, keep the mortar. We'll see. Let me know your thoughts. So, just a quick shout out for something that's upcoming, and this is the Kickstarter, Baddsquiddo Games and Annie, who's doing Freya's Wrath, and it's a Viking, realistic women's Viking warbandy type thing. And with the coming of Saga 2, which should be hitting shelves around February, I believe. It looks like a good bit of timing if you wanted something different to run on your battlefield for your Saga, or any of the other games that you might do. So it's they're looking really good figures, as you can see from the picture above. And he always runs a very good Kickstarter. It goes really well. It finishes on time. The figures get delivered on time. It's pretty slick. So if you fancy some Vikings and you want something different, they're the ones to go for. I think I shall be having a dabble. They are really nice. So yeah, have a look. Check out the Kickstarter. I think it's starting. It says there January 23rd. Keep looking and see what's coming up. It should be pretty good. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. And if you think some of your friends might like it, please give it a share or let them know about the channel. So, thank you very much, and take care.